Until we go across the road, and we can cross the road in a video. It used to be the bank, and it's got renovated. Hopefully it'll be another one. Buy a black hole, like people buy stars and everything, but if you could buy a black hole, it's like all black holes are the same because it's just the like hole, a rip of a fabric, which the fabric of space-time is everything that is a material. The difference between a material and substance. These kinds of things you have to question with the hologram thing. This looks like a laser pen, but it looks like it's supercharged. A cartridge. It's not a laser pen. How much is the difference between this is a illegal package. How much is the difference between, see, I'm aiding and abetting being near that. I could have got arrested. The difference between a substance, very clearly, which that was, and a material, a raw material, would be a legality issue. What others could there be, given the fact that like a molar mass and then a massive black hole, they both have to do with weight, but they're drastically different. Can we draw a parallel between each? So I'm just going out on a whim that the more something is well put together, the easier it is to configure. If it is up against something that is less put together, then it'll be easier to configure. This is just in convergent and divergent for continuity. When you're trying to make very extreme changes, that would be the hook, line, and sinker that you're aiming to put in your car. People like first thought of a zipper as a bullet going like through air, or any like small object going fast through an obstacle is a zipper noise. A zipper dovetails, and like when you zip up a zipper, it makes like a zipper noise. If you say, well, now a zipper is anything that makes a zipping noise, and it would be true, well, now they own basically anything of that noise that makes a zip, and anything can be like modulated to making that noise if it makes any noise, period, just in a different scale. So they would own like that scale like throughout the entire noise barrier of everything, and everything is making a noise. It's just like in the fine print, like you can get duped. It can be quite literal in the courts of like the world, the United Nations. I could see like a scenario, it could get so drastic and then it could become very literal before anyone has a chance to like say otherwise, and it would just be like totally political because everyone wants it to be. So we would be like duped without even knowing it until it was already done, before anyone could say that's not even reasonable, so it wouldn't even matter. So with vaccine hesitancy, where it modifies your body where it never comes out, and so it's kind of scary because the inserts with all the ingredients in it, if you ask for it, it's in like a little Bible like paper, because that's what they've always printed the ingredients on pharmaceuticals on since the 1950s. But for the vaccines, those papers are in the box and they're blank. And what's even scarier is that it goes into your body and it doesn't come out. So you're putting a product into your body and now it doesn't come out. And so you're a consumer, but heck no, you're not a consumer, you're a human. And so like the difference between the density in things is that it needs to have a rest in order for a percentage to be calculated. So when you're doing work, you need to have like a rest period and then in between like the sets in order to get a percentage. And so in more in-depth things like black holes, their densities, a black hole, like it doesn't rest because it like shouldn't be in existence. It's just in existence by default because it's ripped the fabric of space-time. Hashtag because it's ripped. So even like the biggest conspiracy of like the entire eternity would be that there's a white hole on the opposite side of a black hole, and that's literally what like science would tell you. And then that's literally like what religion would be in line with, more literally, like good and evil, white hole, black hole. Given that the black hole is like a default and is negative because it destroys, the white hole would be the opposite, which is like a soul. You're like, hell yeah, I love wearing masks and pulling it up and tugging it at my nose whenever I see someone not wearing it. Hell yeah, I love telling people, get on a mask, you danger. Is that a dollar can go down if people lose faith in it. Invest in gold based off what you think of it, the current structure. If you're trying to invest in a white hole, let's say that is like not sinning and being holy or being the best you that you can be. If you're just like selling yourself short, then you're just invoking black holes everywhere. And that is the same concept of how you would not be favoring gold by the current state of the dollar if it was bad. But it is like really like important because that is the literal root to how AI and the whole genome are connected, where like you don't want to be a product with your genome. They make clones of stuff, so this is like in future terms actual like resistance, not sell yourself short. It isn't from you having low minerals, because if you have zinc and vitamin D, you're basically bulletproof from having a virus come in and replicate its genes inside of you. Some crafts idea, if anyone wants to do some fun arts and crafts, try getting a sponge that's like a really big industrial size one and cut it down into like dice sizes. Then you would want to squeeze them really tight and put them inside a bunch of underneath a bunch of glitter, and then open them up and they'll hopefully absorb the glitter. Set those aside and get a stencil out something nice and funny, and then throw some paint at the stencil. Now you can choose to throw the paint inside of like little bags. If you want to get a bag and then like smash it onto the stencil, you can be fun, but don't hurt anyone with that. And then you can go ahead and take those little dice sponges with glitter in them and just toss them at the stencil however you choose. Take off the stencil and voila. And once you have your stencil, just put that in the corner. You like putting pictures in the corner because they're not too important. The next one, however, will seem a little more cool because it has to do with modification of light absorbing. Okay, so then you're gonna want to get like a piece of glass. The more the glass is warped, the more interesting it'll look. I know it's hard to find warped glass, but try and get some like oil candle, and it usually comes with like a glass, and then that glass you want to take and put some chicken wire. I don't know if you have copper wire. You're gonna want some wire and start twisting the wire around into a shape that would be kind of like a falafel. No, gosh, I've been to the fair so long I can't recall the fried dough, the one that comes in string. You're going for that type of model, and you put that on top of your glass, and then get a LED flashlight and go ahead and put that on the other end, and set that up and walk backwards and look at it from a distance. It'll be a neat little projection. There you go. Now if you want to go and take your projection, leave it there and go get the the little stencil thing, it must be dry by now. Even if it's not dry, it'll probably actually work better. If you want to go take that and put that in front of the projector model and try and decode that by putting it in front of it, or move it around and try and get some sort of a design using both of them together. That would be a polarization. It's a polarization.